Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do a doll unboxing. I guess that's what you call them. I don't know. So I don't I don't know. I'm not really like a collector. I don't really have like a big collection, but I decided to get this doll today, which is a Sindy doll, and I don't know if many people know about it because if you haven't guessed by like the giant Union flag there, it's a British doll. And I don't think it's very popular internationally. I think it's actually quite difficult to get. So I'm not an expert, but the brief version is that Sindy was a doll that was launched in 1963, I think, by a company called Pedigree Toys, which is a UK company. And when she was first released, she was just like your typical blonde hair, blue eyes, white. And I think even later iterations, a few years after it was still white. She just would have had brown hair, maybe different colored eyes, but it was very white. That's what you were getting, and she was basically our answer to Barbie. Um, yes. I'm thinking. So Pedigree Toys, I think, actually had a chance to make Barbie toys. I think Mattel was offering a license to them, but they refused. And instead of them producing Barbies, they thought we'll make Sindy dolls, which is again like the UK's version of it in a way. And one thing I find interesting is Sindy looks a bit more cutesy, and I think her body looks less hourglass than Barbie. So I know like Barbie's been under loads of like controversy. Partly one of the things is because how her body's shaped. I don't get it in a way. So because Barbie was made in 1959, which is like the tail end of the 50s, the ideal at the time was to have a wasp waist. It was straight hourglass, and people just put shapewear on to look like that. And that's like a Barbie doll body is what my body looks like if I put a corset on or a girdle on or whatever the version of what they would have worn in the 50s. So it's just someone with shapewear on, and I think people forget about that in a modern context because well, it's a doll, so you can't put shapewear on it and have its body change. It's made out of plastic, so yeah. But Cindy's figure is a bit less hourglass and a bit more straight up and down from at least pictures I've seen of 60s version. And that makes sense to me because if she was released in 1963, a few years later, well, the fashion from the 50s to the 60s, there's much less focus on the hourglass figure. It becomes more straight up and down. Like, think of when we get to the point of shift dresses, it's just a tube. So there isn't as much of a need for this really wasp-waisted figure. So I just thought that was an interesting thing to point out. That's the first thing I pretty much noticed when I looked at the 60s Sindy compared to the 60s Barbie. So that's pretty much it. They tried to. So that's pretty much it. I think British Sindy looks a little bit like Lika-chan, which is kind of like Japan's version of Barbie in a way. It's probably their most popular fashion doll type thing. And they probably don't look much alike. I just think they do because they both have kind of cute faces. So I don't know. That's how my brain works. So, what am I thinking? So by the 1970s, there was an American brand. I think they were called Marks or something, and they were trying to get Sindy introduced to America. And essentially, I think the company folded by 1980. So they were in America for a brief time in the late 70s up until the end of that decade. And then Marks folded, and you couldn't get any more Sindy dolls in America. So hence, I think it's really struggled abroad. And I think at the end of the 80s, and well, 1989, the end, Hasbro was like, oh, we'll have a go. We'll license them out in America, but we're going to make them appeal more to the American audience. And they thought, let's just make her look like Barbie. They just changed the proportions, they changed the face, and they thought, American children, they want Barbies, they don't want a Sindy looking doll to make her look more like Barbie, which I don't know, maybe that made sense at the time. But logically, if Barbie's already on the market and crushing it and number one, I don't understand why you would just make an imitation. because wouldn't you just want Barbie? Because she is like the original. But anyway, they tried that. And then Mattel was like, no, we're going to sue you for copyright infringement. And essentially Hasbro was like, oh, okay. Oh no. And they ended up changing the face mold of the doll, I think. And by the time it got to the 90s, they were just like, we can't be bothered anymore. And they ended their partnership with Pedigree Toys. And then again, we're like, okay, so you can't get Sindy dolls outside of the UK. As far as I'm aware, I think these are the only 2 markets. So it was back to only the UK again. And it was just kind of in this weird place. And I think in the late 90s, again, 1999, at the end of the era, there was another company, which I think is the current one, called Vivid Imaginations. And they were like, okay, we're going to try again. We're going to license it out this time. And, well, they just licensed it out. And it's gone through quite a few iterations since then. There was a very, like, strange one, which I think was it the 2010s. I can't remember exactly when it was released, but I think they made them look like weird American Girl kind of looking toys. That's all I can remember. It just looked nothing like Sindy at all, and I just thought it was a bit strange. I remember those were a thing. There was like a Vivienne Westwood collaboration, I think, for a special thing. I don't think they didn't go into production, but I think they made like a Vivienne Westwood Sindy. They gave her like a Vivienne Westwood outfit to celebrate something, which makes sense because like Britain dolls, British designer, British doll. But essentially she's gone through many iterations, and this is where we are now. So I'm pretty sure this is a Vivid Imaginations. It might not be. I get a bit confused. I don't know what I'm talking about all the time. But anyway, this is the iteration of where we are. This is what she looks like now. See, it's all modern and stuff. This one is a fashion blogger, I think, so I thought that was quite appropriate, because if I do anything, it's talk too much about clothes on the internet. And if you'll notice, they finally realised that not every child has blonde hair, blue eyes, and is white, so that's nice. So if I turn to the back, it actually has like the range of dolls. So I mean, the representation's a lot better than what it was in like the 60s, which you would hope. So I think most brands have done that. I mean, it's nowhere near as like diverse as like Bratz for say was when that first launched, but I mean, we have like 2 dolls with a deeper skin tone. We have like this one, which is the deepest one, and then we have one with like a medium kind of brown. So I mean, that's fun. And to be fair, this doll does have kind of like a textured hair, which is kind of novel in a way. You do see it on dolls, but I don't see it that often, or I at least don't remember seeing it that often. So I'm probably gonna open it up. So it's in like it's not really, I don't know what, like a house, like a shop shape. It's a very odd shape. I don't know how you explain it, but one thing I thought was funny, it says here, I don't know if you can read it, it says, when you buy from a small business, an actual person does a little happy dance. Why not? I'm not sure if I would call this a small business. I don't know what defines a small business, but they probably are. I think the UK is the only market they're selling in at the moment, and even so, I'm in the UK, so I thought it'll be pretty easy. I can go to any major retailer of toys, and I went to a couple and they didn't sell them at all. So I did manage to find it. So even within the UK, it's not as easy as finding like an MGA toy or a Mattel toy. So maybe they're onto something. They're being quite a small business. And it's got a cute little drawing which says "Believe in yourself." Something nice and cheesy, I suppose. And it's got pretty cute drawing. They look a little bit like fashion illustrations in a way, which I think kind of makes sense. It's a fashion doll, isn't it? So I'm gonna take off this sleeve. I think it's stuck down here. There's like 50 million bits of sticky tape on this, so I couldn't find decent scissors. I could only find these really old toy ones. Well, not the real scissors, but they're like children's ones, aren't they? Because they've got the safety plastic. And they are like a funky shape. They're like a little wave zigzag. So this is, I don't know how this is gonna work. It should be fine, but I don't know. I'm wondering if it's better if I just try and peel it off with my finger, but I feel like it's gonna take forever, so I feel like all the people are gonna be just very upset I'm opening this, although this is a pretty modern doll, so maybe not, people won't really care, I don't know. Oh, is it like a little post box? It says post there. Is that what this is supposed to be? No, it is supposed to be a house, and that's the post box. I think I'm overthinking this, but it is quite cute. There's like little flowers here, so it must be a little house. So that is kind of cute. So one thing I like is that they have put, I think they've put a really cute effort into the packaging. I like how it's not just a simple box with some colours thrown on there. And right off the bat, one thing I would say is one of the eyes, and if you can see, one of the eyes isn't, I don't think it's painted the best. It looks like a little bit has gone loose, or maybe it's just a loose bit that wasn't brushed off when the doll was painted. It doesn't look like it's like the end of the world, but that is something just to point out. So open it up. That's fine. So just going to open it up here. Okay, so here it is. It has another plastic outer layer as well as that one. That doesn't seem that essential. I suppose it keeps the doll in, but it still feels a bit excessive to me. So it's got some craft cutouts on reverse, so reverse of this or reverse of this? Reverse of, oh, okay. Okay, so I think all of the dolls come with some version of a little cardboard playset. So because this one is the fashion one, she comes with, I can't even get it out of my nails. Yeah, she comes with a fashion pack. So I think the boxes of each set are also part of the playset, which is something I quite like because I feel that really reduces waste if the packaging is also something you can play with. I remember as a child, sometimes I would take packaging and turn them into playsets or make something interesting with them. So it's a bit like that I do, though I guess a lot more polished than what I would have done as a child. So she comes with a mannequin and she comes with some cute cardboard clothes, and it looks like you can follow a tutorial online and it will show you how to fully set up the fashion store. So I'm going to just leave this in here for now. I'm going to focus more on the doll just because, like, I'm an actual fashion person. I'm probably just going to make physical clothes. That's in part why I got this doll. So we'll just put this back for now. And here's the doll itself. So, oh yeah, of course there's more sticky tape. There's like, I don't think there's twisty ties in this. No, there isn't. So I don't know if you remember those twisty ties from, I think it was, I don't know, was it Barbie packaging in the 90s? But that was just annoying to get through. But this one is just hidden through like a million layers of sticky tape, which is a bit less annoying, but still quite tedious. Wow, even more sticky tape. Okay. Okay, so here's the doll, and she comes with a little toy laptop, which I'm pretty sure, does it fold? Oh, I'm not sure if it actually bends. I think it might just be like that, but I think on pictures I've seen it bend, but I'm a little bit afraid if I break it, so I'm not quite sure if that bends, but it must do. It's a bit silly to just have a laptop like that. And we've got a little fashion book, and it actually does have writing in it, so it's got a place to write your name, and it just tells you a little bit about the doll, and I think it's just telling you about the product. It's got like a cute little fashion things you can do, so that's quite cute. I thought it was just going to be a bit like a prop book, like just basically a piece of cardboard and it'll just have a cute image on. So that's quite fun. It's like something you can actually do with it, and then it's just also like advertising the other dolls. So, you know, oh, there's a horsey one. Oh, you know, I like horses. So anyway, it's got like the advertisements for the other dolls in there and some fun tasks you can do. And it comes with a little bag, which is just made out of plastic, just a generic bag. Does it open? It does, so it opens. And it's just empty inside, but I don't think anything fits inside. This is too big to fit in there, so I don't know, maybe you can hide some sweets in there or something. And it looks like the straps are adjustable because it's got a little pin system, a bit like how this opens. And here's the doll itself. Now, it doesn't come with a doll stand, and I think it's because this is intended more as a playline doll, more than like those dolls which are dolls aimed at kids, but also they're kind of collector's dolls, kind of like adult collectors tend to use them, and they tend to come with stands. But I think this is intended more for like children, and there isn't adult collectors in mind really. So that's why it isn't a stand, I assume. So yeah, I don't know how many articulation points she has. Like, the head will move, I think, yeah. And then she's got joints at the elbow and the knees. So I know that much I know. Does she have a joint? Oh, she has a joint at the wrist as well. The quality of the clothing seems pretty good. It seems pretty hearty. It's all just like Velcro. There isn't any zips or anything like that. But I think I paid £20, so it's kind of that Monster High kind of range. I think they're about the same price. And considering this isn't Mattel, this is a smaller company. It's not like Hasbro, Mattel, or MGA. It seems pretty good for the price point that it is. And I don't know what the hair's made of. I'm not good at telling the different materials for hair, so I'm not sure if this is a particular high quality or low quality for hair, but the texture on it seems really nice. It seems they've given her a kind of coily texture, and that's something I haven't really seen in dolls before. So I mean, that in of itself to me is a big deal, and I think it's just really nice that like the kids of today just have more choice of dolls that they can play with that like actually look like them. So let's just see. I don't think the doll comes with underwear. Let's just see what it looks like. But I kind of love like the little tutu and leggings. I don't know if you remember from the 2010s, but in the 2010s we had a bit of a like 60s kind of inspiration, and like coloured tights were just back in again, and like wearing coloured tights with shorts or like coloured tights with a skirt like this. So this outfit like really rings 2010s to me, which I know will eventually come back as the 2000s have come back and fashion is cyclical. So it is only a matter of time. So here's my trend forecast is that coloured tights will be in fashion again, and especially coloured footless tights with skirts or shorts. Okay, so this is just what the doll looks like, as the doll mold looks like. So she doesn't come with any fabric underwear, but this is what she looks like. So she has quite a few points of articulation. She bends like waist articulation, and oh, it isn't a bend. It doesn't bend. It is like a twist, it seems. But she's got some articulation at the knee and some at the ankle, I think. Maybe not. It looks like she should. I don't know if it's stiff or if it's just me. But the arms just move like normal elbows, and then there's some articulation at the wrist, and then as I showed earlier, the head moves. Oh, and of course, like the legs, they're like the ball joints, so they just go like wee. So I mean, I think that's pretty good. It seems pretty similar in articulation to like a Monster High. Just I keep comparing it because I don't know much about dolls, and I know they're a similar price point. I wish this bent more like an actual knee joint. I don't know why they've just done that. I'm wondering if it is just me not understanding how like dolls work. I don't remember dolls having so much articulation back in the day. But yeah, like I think like the shape of her body is like kind of hourglass, but like compared to like a Barbie doll, it's nowhere near as dramatic, and that rings true to what she looked like in the 60s as well. She had a more relaxed kind of silhouette because those were the kinds of clothes that were really gaining traction at the time, and it seems to just carried on to this point. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the doll. I mean, to be honest, having a doll of colour and then having her have textured hair, I mean, that's pretty much a win for me. It's come such a long way from like the choice you would have had in the 60s. And I just hope they do more. Off the top of my head, I don't think there's any East Asian looking doll in the line. I feel they could have done that, because I think they had about 3 white characters and then just 2 like dolls of colour just kind of there, and it looked like one representing maybe a black doll and one maybe representing maybe like a Southeast Asian, or maybe a more like Latina kind of doll. And it feels a bit weird they didn't make a East Asian looking doll, you know, because yeah, so overall I'm pretty happy with it. I wish it did come with a stand, just because I like to put dolls on the stand and display them, but I don't think I'm like the intended market. I think it is intended more as just like a playline doll, and I'm probably gonna make some clothes for her in the future, so yeah. One thing I would say with the clothing is these leggings catch on the Velcro quite easily. So you know, like Hook and I like fastening kind of things. Well, they have hooks on them, so they do tend to stick to materials. But this one especially, because it's a knitted fabric and it's just quite stretchy, it's just already caught. I don't think it's damaged it, but that is something to just be careful of. And yeah, so actually one main thing is she does come with pretty like flat feet. She doesn't have little Barbie feet, which is, to me, that's quite novel. I suppose I feel most dolls wear heels, but they do have flat shoes, and I think a lot of the dolls in the range do have flat shoes. Maybe all of them do. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the kind of quality you get for the money I paid, albeit I'm not experienced with doll collecting, so I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. I just wanted to talk about a Sindy doll because I don't think they're talked about a lot because, I mean, good luck getting one. So I just wanted to show you what they were like in case you wanted to know what they're like before you get one, because maybe it's for you, but maybe a different doll suits you more. So that's me. I'm gonna go now. I don't know what I'm talking about, so feel free to correct me because I may have got many things wrong. And I will see you later. Probably I'll be doing something I know a lot more about, and that is making clothes. Okay, bye!